How to calculate cash flow? Yeah, baby, we're doing a step-by-step tutorial today. Stay tuned to this week's episode of Prime Property. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Property. So glad Jonas here. Happy New Year. It's 2020, another decade. Hope you guys have a great 2020 and more to come in the rest of this decade. Now, I'm gonna try something new right now, but you guys give me a little bit of feedback if this is something that you guys like, okay? So I'm gonna go and take you step by step on how I calculate cash flow for any potential investment properties I'm looking at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen with you. But don't worry, I'll be down here or down here in this little circle on either one on the corner side so you can follow along and still see how I'm reacting to it, okay? What you're gonna be seeing right now is on my screen is gonna be an investment calculator. So if you want a copy of it, make sure you go to the link in the description below. All you have to do is enter your email and you can follow along even closely because I'm just gonna give it to you guys for free, okay? All right, everybody. So what you're seeing in front of me is my screen. This right here is the investment calculator. And if you want a copy of it, I'll put a link to the description and put a link in the description below so you can go and download it. What you have to do is just put an email in if you want to follow on even more closely. So right now, it's a lot of information right now because I built this in such a way that we're comparing properties. So for ease of use, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these so that we're mainly looking at this one property right here, okay? So I'm going to use an example that I pulled up from today's MLS, and most of us are condo investors. Here is one that you can see specifically on the right-hand side. This is 88 Blue Jays Way. This is the new Bisha Hotel, okay? So how we calculate cash flow, obviously, is your total carrying costs less whatever you make in total rents. So let's just say, go with the listing price. This gets sold at $468. I generally like to say you should use 20% down because this lets you amortize 30 years. And you'll see what I mean by that in a little bit, okay? Because the longer you have your mortgage, the less your monthly payment will be. So this will automatically calculate the mortgage amount, what the down payment is. I've been generally using 3% interest right now. I've been having a lot of clients get actually less than 3, but I'll just overestimate for a little bit. So you can see here, this automatically calculates what the total monthly mortgage payment is going to be. We're going to now look at the monthly property taxes. So you can see over here, what I'm going to highlight on the screen is taxes here are almost $2,000. So we're just going to enter that in here. Now you do get your taxes every 3 months, 3 or 4 months, depending on where you are in the city. But this is just to give you an idea of what you're going to be paying each month. You're not actually paying it each month, but you're going to be paying something along the lines of that if you break it out on a monthly cost. Now then we add condo fees. The condo fees can be found here. So because this is a smaller unit, the condo fees are a little bit lower. That's what makes the cash flow work a lot better for these investments. So 278.11. Insurance here is automatically calculated for you. This is an overestimate, but this is generally what you should be paying on each month for insurance. It's probably half of that, but I'm just going to overestimate. So on a unit like this, because it's very small, it's basically a bachelor pad because there's no bedrooms. You walk in, there's going to be a bed there, and there's going to be the kitchen, and then that's kind of what it is. So you can generally get about $2,100 in rent because this is right in the heart of entertainment district right now. Okay, so you can see right here, we're just about cash flow neutral. Okay, so that means every single month we're going to be out about $20.17 per month. Now, when you compare this to a lot of the other condos for investors who are trying to get cash flow, this actually is a fairly good amount because it's very rare to find a property that's going to actually cash flow positive, especially if we're talking about downtown condos. Remember what I said earlier too, right? This is about twice the price. If we just take that in half, now we're cash flow positive 8 cents, okay? Now, we look at these numbers again. A lot of the times, this isn't holding offers, and it's asking for $486,000. What if you get this at, say, $475,000, right? So now you can see that changes our mortgage amount, and then now we're going to be cash flow positive $37.55. Although that doesn't sound like a lot, the goal of being cash flow positive is to make sure that we're not paying any money out of pocket for our investment. That's the most important thing. If you want to get higher cash flows for like replacing income or trying to replace someone else's income, create another stream of passive income, you're going to need to do a different strategy with short-term rentals, which we have. If you want to learn more about that, I'll put a link in the description below as well for the cash flow condos, so write it down below. So that kind of gives you an idea of how I calculate cash flow. Now in this calculator, I've also put in what total investment is going to be. So I'll just kind of go over that for you. When you buy anything in Toronto, obviously there's the Ontario land transfer tax, and then there's going to be the Toronto land transfer tax. There's going to be about legal fees of $1,500 roughly, depending on which lawyer you go with. And then you have other adjustments. This is if the seller has paid taxes or condos fees in advance. This could vary anywhere between $100 to $1,000 depending on when you close the property and what has been paid. Now, what a lot of people like to look at is how much money they're going to be making, which is the ROI. So I will conservatively use 4% appreciation. Obviously, as you guys know, condos have been doing a lot better than 4%, but you can see here, it takes everything that you are going to earn throughout the course of the year. So you can see here, this is basically what our monthly cash flow is times 12, because that's how much cash flow you get per year. The mortgage pay down, you can't really see here, but there's a mortgage calculator in the back. When you look at this, you can see over here, half on one side here in the payments that your tenant is paying is going to be interest. The other half is going to be principal. And as this amount gets paid down every single month, you own that much of the property less any appreciation. And as you can see, when you go through, this is called the amortization schedule. When you go through to the end, you pay less and less interest and more of the principal. It's kind of like an X curve. So the amount you pay is here, and then what you would actually pay in that's the interest payment. This is what you would get in principal payments, just to give you an example. Okay, so now we're going to come back to returns on investment. So you can see here, after the mortgage pay down, this is how much you get for the first year. And then this is the built-in appreciation on the property. And then when you add all of these the three ways you get paid in investment, and we talked about that in previous videos, this is how much money you're making. Okay, you're making about $27,000. So how you get your total return on investment is actually you take the amount of money you invested, which is right here, okay? All the money you paid up front. You take this total profit and you divide it by how much money you've put into the property. So in your first year, you're getting a quarter of your money back right away. So that's why real estate is so powerful, because it's a leveraged tool that pays for itself. It's what we call self-liquidating, because the rent for your tenant covers the rest of your operating costs. Plus you get the bonus of the mortgage pay down, and then you also get the equity appreciation. And then when you build this over time, that's how you make a lot of generational wealth. So I hope that kind of gives you guys an idea of how we're going to do it. I know a lot of people always ask me why you want to do 20% down. This is what I'm going to show you. If you don't do 20% down, say you do 15%, you have to incur mortgage insurance, and that's going to be built into this calculator. The other thing is you can no longer amortize this by 25 years, which means you can only amortize, you can no longer amortize by 30 years, which means the max you can do is 25. Now you see what kind of difference it makes to our cash flow. Although you're paying off the property faster, you're now going to be out of pocket $275 a month. And I rather you have a longer amortization period, pay a little bit more interest, because the tenant is paying it, than to be out of pocket and each month $275. Because when you hear negative news and press and you're losing $275 a month, that's gonna be like, oh my God, I'm gonna freak out and sell the property. That's why we want to be cash flow positive. So we're gonna change this back to 20% so that we can do 30-year AM, and the numbers look a lot nicer to us, okay? Now, a lot of you guys also have been investing with me for legal secondary basements in other areas such as Oshawa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, and we're going to use an example for there, okay? Okay, so we're going to keep the condo over here on the left, which is 88 Blue Jay Way, and then we're going to use this house that's for sale right now, and we're going to run the numbers. Same thing, we're going to crunch the numbers again. So the purchase price is $539,900. We're going to want a 20% down, 20% down again, 30-year amortization, the monthly mortgage. The property taxes in Oshawa is a lot higher. So you can see the taxes are going to be almost double because the multiplier rate is higher. So we're going to do 2785.3, oops, 4785.3. That's awfully low. Now, because of the house, there's no condo fees, so we're going to just draw 0. Insurance will be a little bit higher here, so I'm just going to leave it here. Now, depending on how you have structured your house, what house you buy, it could be separately metered, or you may pay for it yourself. But generally, I'm going to say you want your tenants to pay for the hydro, gas, water, any miscellaneous, such as like shoveling and snow removal and landscaping, okay? So you can see here, the carrying cost is a tiny bit higher because the price is a little bit higher. But the rent you'll get, and of course, I haven't seen this property yet, but you can see over here, there's 5 bedrooms and 2 washrooms. So if it's 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, generally it's 3 bedrooms at the top and 2 bedrooms at the bottom. So you can get anywhere between $1,400 for the top if it's a 3-bedroom, 1 washroom. You can probably get about $900 to $1,100 for the basement, okay? But we'll just use $1,000 for in between. So you can see here now, our total monthly cash flow is going to be $140, which is a little bit higher than the condo because you're going to be able to get 2 units. That's how you're going to make a detached home actually cash flow in the Durham area. So when you look, we have to make sure you change over here. We're going to be in the offshore area. Where are we? Offshore. There we go. So you don't have to pay the Toronto land transfer tax. So your closing cost is actually less than you would be on the Toronto side because you're paying 1 less land transfer tax. Now let's just also put 4% appreciation rate. And you can see here, this property would do a little bit better on the ROI side. But what a lot of people are kind of deciding between, even though the numbers are very similar, is Toronto, generally speaking, will do a little bit better than the surrounding areas just because of the amount of immigration coming in and the jobs coming in. And the other thing is your tenant selection is going to be better in downtown Toronto. Your tenant selection, plus you have to deal with 2 types of tenants, is going to be a little bit not as strong when you go outside of Toronto where there's less jobs. So you kind of have to make a decision what you want to do and how you want to structure your next property, because right now I would say your ROI is very similar between the 2 of them, and it's really just about what kind of lifestyle you want to pick for being a landlord. Guys, I hope this really helps in terms of how we're going to be calculating, or how you will be calculating cash flow moving forward. If you guys want the calculator, in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy real estate. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.